listening to The Magnetic Coach, a podcast for those who want to stand out, be seen, and communicate with clarity and confidence. I'm your host, Linda Ford. Let's dive in. Hi everyone, Linda Ford here. Welcome back to the Magnetic Coach podcast. I am your host, Linda Ford, and this is episode 3. And on this podcast, we are talking to coaches about how they can have more impact, attract more clients, and to how to overcome this struggle that we seem to have with being overly self-conscious about putting ourselves out there, right? We all feel this. And most of the coaches that I work with are just naturally, actually, I think a lot of coaches are just naturally introverts. We love coaching, we love helping people, but the thought of putting ourselves out there is pretty scary. We feel overexposed, we feel a lot of fear about that. So this is what this podcast is about. This is what we're delving into, these kinds of conversations on how we can become less self-conscious and how we can become more confident in what it is we're sharing. And so one of the basic premises that I believe is that, is this whole idea of where does confidence actually come from? How do we become more confident? And I really believe that confidence is already there within us. Contrary to what a lot of people say, that, you've got to build a confidence muscle. There's some truth to that, but I see it as more, not so much adding something to you, like I'm going to get this thing out here that's going to make me feel confident. It's more about uncovering the confidence that's already there. And so when I say covering over, when something's covering over our confidence, what I really mean is that there's a lot of busy thinking, a lot of insecure thinking that's covering it over. And so if we can kind of let that go, the confidence is there. And one of the things that I find, this has actually been my experience anyway, has been that confidence, feeling confident, comes from having a deep connection with my work. It's when I've actually experienced something, I've seen something, right? I've had an insight about something that's impacted me. It's not some intellectual knowing. It's more about really seeing something that I've actually gone through and experienced and having clarity, right? And one of the big areas of my life as a coach was when I first started coaching. I loved the idea of coaching, but I never really felt confident. And, as I look back now, the beauty of hindsight, I can see that one of the components that was contributing to my lack of confidence was the fact that I wasn't deeply connected to the people that I was coaching. So it was like I didn't really understand who I was supposed to coach and what issues that I would be best helping people with. And so I remember after about a year of coaching, trying to get my business launched, I was feeling really uninspired. And then I was thinking, oh gosh, maybe coaching's not right for me. And at that time, I think it was around about 2011, somehow or other, I managed to get on a call, a group call with Simon Sinek, who wrote Start With Why. He's the guy that had this amazing TED Talk that became one of the most downloaded and watched TED Talks, Start With Why. And everybody knows Simon Sinek. And so back then, his book was just coming out and he hadn't reached this mega fame that he has today. And I just so happened to be on a group call with him and got coached by him. And I was telling him about how, I love coaching, but I'm not feeling it. I'm just not feeling inspired. And it was really quite an amazing call because he said, it's not coaching coaching is not your why. It's just the vehicle through which you live out your why. And he said, so the reason you're not inspired is because you're coaching the wrong clients. You haven't found your ideal client yet. And you know, he said that when you find that person that you're meant to coach, everything will change. And I never forgot that call. And it really made a lot of sense to me, because when I first started coaching, oh my gosh, my strategy, my reasoning for reaching out to certain clients, when I think back at now, it wasn't very, I hadn't really thought it through. My first instinct was, well, who really needs, you know, where is there a big demand for coaching? And how can and which area? So if there's a big demand, it means you're going to make a lot of money, right? And I immediately latched on to women who were having weight problems, who wanted to lose weight. Now, I had never really struggled with losing weight. I mean, now I'm always trying to lose that last 10, 15 pounds, but I wouldn't say that weight loss, weight issues, especially back then, 15 years ago, was a really big contender for me in my life. You know, I was quite happy with my body. And so, but I thought, well, this, you know, it's a no-brainer. I'll just coach women who really want to overcome this problem. And so that's what I did. And I did that for about 6 months, and it was disastrous because I had nothing to share with them. I didn't really understand their problems. I didn't know really what they were going through. I had some sense. And, you know, here's the thing. I wasn't interested, really. And I'm embarrassed to say that one time when I was on the phone with a client, I actually fell asleep. So that says volumes, right? So over the years, I've really come to see, and I've changed, and I think it really speaks to this whole issue of finding your ideal client, niching down. And I've really come to see, and it's taken me a while to do this, that it doesn't really serve us to put out our net too wide of a net to attract clients. Like when I first started, it was like, oh, find your best life, or how to be happy, or how to be stress-free. But everybody on the planet wants to be happy and stress-free and find their best life, right? And how was I going to capture the people? The message just wasn't getting through. And let me just say, we coaches know that every problem in the world, every problem out there is a thinking problem, whether it's weight loss, confidence problems, lack of confidence problems, whether it's being in a difficult relationship, everything is a thinking problem. But for us to advertise ourselves as, I'm going to help you change your thinking, it doesn't really address people's problems directly. It doesn't speak to them in an intimate way. It's kind of like, I always compare it to, if you come out as a coach and you use this as your business strategy, your marketing strategy, oh, I help you change your thinking, I'll help you have better thoughts about your life. It's kind of like coming through the front, busting through the front door and giving them the problem that, you know, we know what they need. They need to change their thinking. It's like you're too much in their face. You're not really relating to their issue. So instead, I always like to advocate that coaches come through what I call the side door, where we meet them where they are, whether it's women who are trying to find a mate, women who are trying to lose that last 10 pounds, men who are trying to feel more secure in their relationships, whatever it is, we meet them where they are. And so that way, once we're in their world, right? And it doesn't mean that you have to go down a whole rabbit hole of digging into their past, talking about their problems, but when we meet them where they are, then we can begin to talk to them about what they need, right? Change your thinking, all that stuff. We get to do what we coaches love to do, and that is go under the hood and show them how to change their life through whatever issue it is they're dealing with. And so I really want to just get this message out there that for coaches, don't be afraid of niching down. Don't be afraid of just dealing in one particular area. And I would really advise you to think about the area that really speaks to you. The most successful niches that I have had have been in life situation where I'm addressing a certain life situation that I personally have gone through. I've personally struggled with myself. I've seen something and I've overcome that area. And you don't have to have overcome it completely, right? But at least you're a few steps ahead of your client. You've actually seen something worthy enough to share with them. And I find that coaches who are trusting this way, doing their coaching business this way, focusing on one particular area, are doing so much better, have so much easier time with the marketing piece, and having such more meaningful conversations than any coach, general coach out there who's the general life coach, oh, I help people get happy or, overcome stress. So that don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of committing yourself to that. And like I mentioned in episode 2 about we are in a relationship with our business, right? And we want to be committed. We want to have both feet in. So don't be afraid of putting both feet into a particular area and marry it, right? Because here's the thing, if it doesn't work out, give it some space, give it at least 6 months to a year, try it out. And if you find yourself outgrowing it, or it's just not working for you, you can always divorce it. You can always leave, right? That's how this business works for us. We're always evolving with our business. One of the worst things, when I first started coaching, one of the worst things I always experience is when I go to a cocktail party, and I used to go to a lot of these receptions at my husband's an academic. And so we would go to a lot of receptions, with professors and whatever, and we'd be standing around, and invariably someone would ask me, what do you do, Linda? And I hated that question in the early days when I became a coach, because I never knew what to say. I just was always tongue-tied. I had that deer in the headlights look, like, oh, I'm a life coach and I help people live their best life, or, I help them get happy. And I was always so embarrassed by saying that. There was something in it that just felt so cheesy. I think that's the word. I just felt so cheesy saying it. Life coach, how to be happy, everything. I've never liked the term life coach anyway, but anyway, and I never knew what to say. And people were very polite, and they would say, oh, that's nice. Yeah, great. But it never allowed the conversation to go any further because of the vagueness of it. People probably didn't want to be rude to ask, well, what does that mean? So, but now when people ask me what I do, I say, I am a coach who works with other coaches who want to have impact, who want to stand out, but they're really struggling with putting themselves out there. They're struggling with the insecurity, they don't feel confident. So my work is about helping them feel more confident so that they can have more impact, put themselves out there in their business. And then when I used to do relationship coaching, I would say I work with women who are in relationships. They want to have a great relationship, but they're in one right now, and they can't decide whether to stay or leave because of the dysfunction. So my job as a coach is to help navigate them through that so that they can make a decision. And I'll tell you, invariably, when I would get specific and say something like that, either of those two examples, people would come back and say, oh my God, I know exactly who I should put you in contact with. My friend Lucy or Danny, he needs you. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard that. And when somebody says that to you and they know immediately who they should refer to you, you know that you've got your message down. You've connected. Can you see the difference? It resonates with people. And so that's the litmus test. It's like you want to be able to say exactly what you do and have it come out clearly and confidently without any kind of hesitation, no kind of stumbling over your words. You get it down because you know on a deep level who you work for, okay? What kind of work you do. And there's just a world of difference when you get that kind of clarity, when you do the inner work to figure out who that is, right? Who really breaks your heart? Who do you really want to work with and help? Then that comes through, that energy comes through, because they really do sense, oh, she knows, she gets me. She knows what I'm struggling with. So that's what I want to share with you today, is to think, you can really consider niching down. And please don't think that you're missing out on something by niching down, because actually what you're going to experience is you're going to have deeper, more richer conversations with your clients. There's none of this vagueness. You get right into the meat of the problem, and they get what they want, and you get to give them what they need, right? All that in all your modalities, all your instruction, all that good stuff that you want to share with them. Now, if anyone here listening to this would like to I have a free guide that asks a lot of these rich questions about how you can discover your niche. I'll put it in the show notes, but you could go to lindafordcoaching.com, which is my website, and on my homepage, you will see how my free guide, which is called How to, no, let me get it right. The free guide is discover your powerful and profitable niche, right? Discover a powerful and profitable niche. Because when it comes from the soul, when you're connecting with something that you've experienced yourself and that means a lot to you, that you have some deep convictions about and deep feelings about, that makes it powerful. That'll make your communication powerful. So that's what I want to leave you. So you can go on that website, on the homepage, download it, read the guide, and I'd love to hear back from you. Let me know what insights you've had. Has this changed your opinion about who you should be working with? Okay. All right, guys, thank you for listening, and please subscribe if you're watching the video. And if you're listening to this on as a podcast, then please leave me a review, a 5-star review. Go ahead, I'd love that. And reach out to me if you have any questions, or you would like to, you have some ideas of what you'd like me to talk about. I'd be more than happy to address those. Okay, guys, thanks for listening. Bye.